6:45 a.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by J. Yogaraj and read by Mario Vijayawardena. The headlines. The health authorities urge all the Sri Lankans to continue to remain vigilant of the pandemic situation over the highly mutated Omicron variant of the COVID-19. Not a single tourist has arrived in the island from the travel-restricted African countries for the last 2 weeks. The final report on the explosion of gas cylinders will be submitted to the Parliament today. The UAE and Sri Lanka discuss enhancing bilateral trade and economic ties. The daily coronavirus cases count climbs to 742. In the COVID-19 update, Sri Lanka reports another 27 deaths and 422 recoveries. 13 cases detected in the Netherlands as the Omicron variant spreads. In news overseas, in COVID news, South Africa's president calls for the lifting of the Omicron travel bans. In sports news, in the Davis Cup finals, Spain out after losing to Russians in Madrid. The new Omicron coronavirus variant kept spreading around the world on Sunday, with 13 cases found in the Netherlands and 2 each in Denmark and Australia, even as more countries tried to seal themselves off by imposing travel restrictions. The Dutch health authorities announced that the 13 cases of the variant were found among passengers who were on flights from South Africa that arrived in Amsterdam on Friday. Authorities had tested all of the more than 600 passengers on those 2 flights and had found 61 coronavirus cases, going on to test those for the new variant. It is not unlikely more cases will appear in the Netherlands, Health Minister Hugo de Jonge told a news conference in Rotterdam. This could possibly be the tip of the iceberg. First discovered in South Africa, the variant has now been detected in Britain, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, Denmark, Belgium, Botswana, Israel, Australia and Hong Kong. The discovery of Omicron, dubbed a variant of concern last week by the World Health Organization, has sparked worries around the world that it could resist vaccinations and prolong the nearly 2-year COVID-19 pandemic. Not a single tourist has arrived in the island from the travel-restricted African countries for the last 2 weeks. The Tourism Minister Prasanna Ranatunga says the island is open for tourists other than from the restricted states. However, Sri Lanka has taken measures to check whether the tourists have visited the restricted countries before arriving in the island. He said fully vaccinated tourists are allowed to visit the country in order to support their cricket teams playing in Sri Lanka now. It is also reported that many countries are continuing with their sports and other important events besides the pandemic restrictions. As almost all the people are fully vaccinated, the island will continue with its proceedings systematically under a new normalcy, the minister added. Sri Lanka has banned travellers from a number of African countries because of the new COVID variant. The Civil Aviation Authority said that travellers from South Africa, Zimbabwe, Namibia, Botswana, Lesotho and Eswatini have been banned. The final report on the explosion of gas cylinders will be submitted to Parliament today. State Minister Lasantha Alagiyavanna said samples have been collected from 7 districts and handed over to the National Quality Assurance Institute. The institute will conduct the examinations with the support of the Consumer Affairs Authority, the Government Analysts Department and Analytical Divisions of the Moratuwa University. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The Health Ministry reports that another 210 persons have tested positive for the coronavirus, pushing the daily count of the new cases to 742 yesterday. This brings a tally of COVID-19 cases confirmed in the country thus far to 562,520, while over 18,500 infected patients are currently undergoing treatment island-wide. The Director General of Health Services has confirmed another 27 coronavirus-related deaths for yesterday. According to the figures released by the Government Information Department, the deaths reported yesterday include 14 males and 13 females. 5 of the patients are between the ages of 30 to 59 years, while the remaining 22 are in the age group of 60 years and above. Meanwhile, the Health Ministry says that 422 patients infected with the COVID-19 virus have been discharged after completing their recovery. This brings the total number of COVID-19 recoveries in the country to 529,662. The National Building Research Organisation has issued landslide warnings for 7 districts with the prevailing rain. Landslide warnings have been issued for the Colombo, Kalutara, Kandy, Kurunegala, Matale, Nuwara Eliya and Ratnapura districts. Once again, the National Building Research Organisation has issued landslide warnings for 7 districts with the prevailing rain. Landslide warnings have been issued for the Colombo, Kalutara, Kandy, Kurunegala, Matale, Nuwara Eliya and Ratnapura districts. Meanwhile, a flood warning has been issued for residents in the low-lying areas of the Dadru Oya, as the water levels of the Dadru Oya have been observed as rising to a minor flood level. The Irrigation Department warns that there is a possibility of a considerable flood situation occurring in the low-lying areas of the Dadru Oya Valley. The residents of the area and the drivers of vehicles passing through the area are requested to be vigilant of floods. The experiencing of heavy rains has also caused the opening of 4 sluice gates of the Iranamadu Reservoir in Kilinochu this morning. The reservoir engineer said the spill levels of the reservoir is reaching its optimal level. The Kilinochu Disaster Management Office has warned the people to be vigilant as there is a risk of flooding in the low-lying areas due to the spill of the reservoir. It added, residents of the Panankandi, Kandavalai and Murasamatai in Kilinochu have been warned to shift to safer locations before flood situation becomes heavier. That's local news.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Vedha Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedha Mahatmya.
During a meeting with the Foreign Minister Professor G.L. Paris, the Charge d'Affaires of the United Arab Emirates to Sri Lanka, Ibrahim Ali Ibrahim Al-Ghagawi, has expressed the UAE government's willingness to enhance bilateral trade and economic relations with the government of Sri Lanka. Extending greetings from the UAE's Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed bin Al Nahyan, he also recalled the recent bilateral meeting held between Foreign Minister Professor G.L. Paris with the UAE's Minister of Industry and Advanced Technology, Dr. Sultan Al Jaber, at the sidelines of the 76th session of the UNGA in New York. Responding to the remarks made by the Charge d'Affaires, Foreign Minister Paris expressed that the government of Sri Lanka and the UAE has witnessed extremely cordial relations, and during his tenure he is looking forward to further strengthening Sri Lanka's relations with the UAE. Minister Paris also noted, with appreciation, the support extended by the United Arab Emirates to Sri Lanka in the regional and multilateral fora.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedha Mahatmya.
Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhaleba.
Watch Life is brought to you by
Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission.
Health authorities have requested the public to follow the health guidelines strictly as the coronavirus infections crossed the 700 mark for the last 2 weeks. The Director General of Health Services, Dr. Asela Gunawardena, said that it is a high risk for the public to get involved with large gatherings or get-togethers. He requests the public to refrain from travelling between the provinces. He points out that 600 to 750 coronavirus patients are still being reported daily in the country. Therefore, he emphasises that the pandemic can spread rapidly again if the public acts irresponsibly.
If you follow technical and vocational education and training courses, select a course registered and accredited institute by TVEC. Be aware on unregistered institutes which are promoting without having registration. Visit www.tvec.gov.lk for more information. Message from Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission.
Coming up, World News.
In World News headlines. In COVID news, South Africa's president calls for lifting of Omicron travel bans. The US and Iran seek to break impasse talks on reviving nuclear deal. Channel disaster, a father's anguish over missing family since tragedy. South Africa's president has condemned travel bans enacted against his country and its neighbours over the new coronavirus variant Omicron. Cyril Ramaphosa said he was deeply disappointed by the action, which he described as unjustified, and called for the bans to be urgently lifted. The UK, EU and the US are among those who have imposed travel bans. Omicron has been classed as a variant of concern. Early evidence suggests it has a higher reinfection risk. Critical talks with Iran to prevent the collapse of a nuclear deal are to resume in Vienna after 5 months. Officials will discuss the possible return of the US to the 2015 accord, which limited Iran's nuclear activities in return for the lifting of sanctions. Iran has violated key commitments since then President Donald Trump pulled out in 2018 and reinstated US sanctions. The last time Rizga Hussain spoke to his daughter Hadia, it was late on Tuesday night in Iraq. She called him from northern France to say she was about to board a boat with her mother, sister and brother. Hadia was excited at the prospect of finally making it to the UK, but since then, Rizga has heard nothing from his family. The following day he saw on television that 27 people had died while attempting to cross to the UK. And now the main points of the World News segment once again. In COVID news, South Africa's president calls for lifting of Omicron travel bans. The US and Iran seek to break impasse talks on reviving nuclear deal. Channel disaster, a father's anguish over missing family since the tragedy.
Development News is brought to you by Let's take coal out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
The Airport and Aviation Services Sri Lanka Private Limited says that the target of achieving the pre-pandemic revenue level is highly plausible due to the revised health measures. The Chief Operations Director and Board Member Shehan Sumanasekara stated that within a span of less than 2 months since the revised health measures were implemented, passenger movement saw a remarkable increase. He said several measures were taken to overcome the losses, and one of them was relaxing a few restrictions. Sumanasekara also stated that from the 36 registered airlines, 26 airlines had already commenced operations.
Development News was brought to you by the coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
Moving on with sports news.
Defending champion Spain were knocked out of the Davis Cup finals after the Russian Tennis Federation clinched a dramatic late-night win in Madrid. Needing victory to reach the quarter-final, Spanish pair Feliciano Lopez and Marcel Granollers lost 4-6, 6-2, 6-4 to Andrei Rublev and Aslan Karatsev. Success in the deciding doubles meant the Russians, favourites to win the 18-team event, topped to Group A. Their win also ensured Serbia qualified as one of two best-placed runners-up. Vinicius Jr. scored a stunning late winner as Real Madrid came from behind to beat Sevilla at the Bernabeu and moved 4 points clear at the top of La Liga. Meanwhile, Rafa Mir headed the visitors into an earlier lead before Karim Benzema levelled with a tap-in. Vinicius completed Real's comeback when he cut inside and found the top corner with a brilliant right-footed shot. It was Real's 6th win in a row in all competitions.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to September 30th, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency through NSB U Trust for 6 months consecutively. Send more money and increase the chances of winning.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
TJ Lanka PLC, Sri Lanka's leading fabric manufacturer, won twin awards as the best textile exporter in Sri Lanka at the combined 2019-2020 and 2020-2021 Presidential Export Awards ceremony hosted by the Export Development Board. These are TJ Lanka's second and third consecutive Best Exporter Awards in the knitted fabric sector. The company won this title for the first time on its debut at the Presidential Export Awards in 2019. The combined awards ceremony marks the 24th edition of this awards program and was necessitated by the COVID-19 pandemic, which prevented the conduct of last year's ceremony.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners.
Economic news, courtesy of
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
In an endeavour of promoting Sri Lanka's traditional handicraft items produced by local craftsmen to international markets, the Sri Lanka Handicraft Board Laksala yesterday sent the first consignment of handicraft items including handloom products, batik costumes, gem and jewellery products, Ceylon tea, coffee, local Ayurvedic products, organic and cosmetic products to the Florida market in the USA under the supervision of the Batik, Handloom and Local Apparel Production State Minister Dayasiri Jayasekara. According to the agreement signed by Laksala and its USA business partner Nelu, all products available in the franchise showroom are sold under the world-renowned Laksala brand, which has been highly recognized among foreign tourists visiting the country. Laksala, which was established in 1964 during the tenure of former Prime Minister Sirimavo Bandaranaike, has been recognized as the country's oldest state-owned gifts and souvenir shop. Currently, Laksala has a 12-showroom island-wide network coordinated under the guidance of State Ministry of Batik, Handloom and Local Apparel Production.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, brings Nanasa app, a trilingual educational mobile app for online learning. With video-based lessons from grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with the Nanasa app. No subscription fees. Download via Google Play Store, App Store, Huawei Store or Windows. Dialogue, the future today.
The Met Department says showers or thundershowers will occur at times in the southern province and in the Kalutara district. Showers or thundershowers will occur at several places elsewhere after 2 p.m. Fairly heavy showers above 75 millimeters may occur at some places in the Sabaragamuwa central and the northwestern provinces and in the Mana district. A few showers are likely in the northern and the eastern provinces during the morning too. The general public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize the damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during the thunder showers. This weather report was issued this morning at 4:30 a.m. Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. Meanwhile, the international weather forecast website AccuWeather.com reports that the day's weather will be bright with occasional showers. Today's daytime temperature would be around 28 degrees Celsius. There will be light showers in many places in the Colombo district in the night. Tonight's temperature will be around 25 degrees Celsius and there will be scattered showers in select spots late in the night. The ground temperature would be 25 degrees Celsius at the time of this news broadcast. The Air Quality Index AQI is 19, which shows a fair condition in Colombo. The air quality is generally acceptable for most individuals. However, sensitive groups may experience minor to moderate symptoms from long-term exposure.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, brings Nanasa app, a trilingual educational mobile app for online learning. With video-based lessons from grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with the Nanasa app. No subscription fees. Download via Google Play Store, App Store, Huawei Store or Windows. Dialogue, the future today.
And now the headlines of this news broadcast once again. The health authorities urge all the Sri Lankans to continue to remain vigilant of the pandemic situation over the highly mutated Omicron variant of the COVID-19. Not a single tourist has arrived in the island from the travel-restricted African countries for the last 2 weeks. The final report on the explosion of gas cylinders will be submitted to the Parliament today. The UAE and Sri Lanka discuss enhancing bilateral trade and economic ties. The daily coronavirus cases count climbs to 742. In the COVID-19 update, Sri Lanka reports another 27 deaths and 422 recoveries. 13 cases detected in the Netherlands as the Omicron variant spreads. In news overseas, in COVID news, South Africa's president calls for the lifting of the Omicron travel bans. In sports news, in the Davis Cup finals, Spain out after losing to Russians in Madrid. That concludes this news broadcast, and now it's back to your host as always on a Monday morning.